Hi, welcome to an episode of Family DynamiKs. This is Liz.
Hello, it's Katherine.
And it's Ed.
And John.
So we had a lot of family activity this weekend.
What do you mean? It was like totally normal and not busy. What?
Well, what we run into, because there's a lot of us, is sort of a clustering of birthdays.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, this one happened to be partly my fault because it was my birthday / we have some double up birthdays. So I'm a birthday twin with our little niece, Lauren. Mm-hmm. And so we had that going.
And then Brian, our brother-in-law's, I think was the next
after.
day.
Yeah.
And then early in April, we had both the other birthday twins, Grand Mary and my son Ethan. Mm-hmm. And then we doubled down and threw a first communion in there this weekend just for kicks and giggles.
It was craziness.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I will say that because there are so many of us, because I know one other double upset, which is my son and Luke.
They're birthday twins too.
Yeah, our nephew Luke. But I literally, even our direct siblings, much less spouses and all of the nephews and nieces and cousins, I don't know everybody's birthday. I can't keep everybody in my head.
For some bizarre reason, I mean, did you guys notice? I mean, I don't think I realized March actually is a big grouping as well until this year for some reason.
Yeah. It is funny. You forget, because we're very aware that there's a big group in August of birthdays. And we almost always, pre-COVID, tried to have an August big get-together. Those were always a big deal.
Yeah, John, how many people share that birthday week with you?
It starts off with our older brother, James. Then I got introduced, and then our niece, Teresa, got introduced, and then Rosemary. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right, in terms of the order of the birthdays, not, yeah.
And if you go back, because that's 3 siblings basically all having birthdays the same week, if you go back and do the conception calendar, that means mom and dad got busy in November.
No, don't talk about that.
Which is God, weren't you guys busy with the holidays? I mean,
why would
what
you
the
even
hell?
think
knocked
about
everybody
that?
out with some tryptophan, and they took care of business.
Oh, the turkey. I don't know.
Right.
But that was the start of...
that's the turkey soup trick. Okay, now.
Oh, God, that's a whole other topic, our mother and her turkey soup.
Well, but you actually were really the first, because you, before Rosemary, as a twin.
Didn't you have a birthday twin with Nana?
So this is the whole thing about birthday twins. You basically share the same birth date. And I guess it's kind of common, in large families to have that happen, because you kind of think you look back and well, obviously November was the time our parents were horny.
But
gross! Stop!
You're talking about your grandmother and yourself, so that doesn't really apply. But also, the other thing about clusters makes sense. Twins actually don't make any sense, because why is there any logic that 2 people would be born on the same day that happen to be semi-related?
Well, you got a 1 in 365 days chance, and depending on when you were conceived and the month, narrows it down to 1 in 30, and so on and so forth. So yes, Nana and I shared a birthday in October. And, we grew up with them at some, we've talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, they lived out here for a while.
They would live out here for a while, but she was infamous for, a little bit of money in a card. It didn't hold any special meaning that we shared the same birthday. Now, we also shared the same birthstone, was the opal.
Oh, you love the opal.
What? With the same day? How do you have the same... right. Uh-huh.
Right. It's so undramatic, the opal. Even there's all this fire in it. With more fire in an opal literally makes it look cheaper. So, but Nana had a lot of opals.
Now we're never going to get the Opal Council to sponsor this podcast.
We are
Liz.
not,
Thanks.
and that's okay. We're probably bejeweled in
the Opal Council, as if that's
Everybody's
a real thing.
down on
There
it.
probably is an Opal Council.
A new level for our Patreon. Opal.
Oh, no. So I do remember Nana had this, she wore a lot of jewelry, but it was very much of her era and taste. So as a kid looking at it, you're like, wow, that's a large cluster ring. I mean, that's a large cocktail pin. But she did have cool jewelry. So I took her out to lunch when she was here for a visit, and she had one of those big cluster opal rings on it. We basically went from the base of your finger to the knuckle. How could you even bend your finger? Sure. And it was a cluster of opals. So it was 20 opals. Just so much. So sitting across from her, I'm ooh, and she's like, when I pass away, this will be yours. I never saw it, but, and I remember sitting there thinking, how am I going to break that down? And we have a niece that's also John. What were you?
What age were you? You were thinking about.
I drove her to and paid for
okay.
brunch
All right, fine.
or lunch. So I mean, I was of an age that I knew you could break
You
apart
had
jewelry.
a jewelry style at that
Yes, I
point,
had a
though.
jeweler. No, just kidding. I knew that you could kind of make it your own if that was not your taste, but
Well, Antiques Roadshow, beware.
exactly. But it didn't matter because I never saw the ring. But we have a niece as well who's in October, and I have given her an opal, and I looked for her.
Wait, who? I can't even.
Marie. I know we can barely keep track.
Oh,
And
I can't keep track.
The
honestly.
oldest grandchild is an October birthday, and
Good for her.
And
October's
I
a
did give
great
her an
month.
opal, and I looked for, her reaction. Was it disgust or excitement? And she seemed to be like the opal. So she, all on record, unless I have a granddaughter that's in October, is going to inherit all my opals because I have.
Why do you
collected-
how is that?
Because
Oh,
people
'cause
look
people
up
give it to you.
birthstones.
Well, also, didn't you have to know all that when you were working at the family store? When they're like the whole,
Yes.
yeah, there's a whole thing.
What's the birthstone for March? You have a good birthstone, April. I think it's a diamond.
Well, it better be. No, I'm just kidding.
I
don't
mean,
even
that's the
know.
good birthstone. Rosemary's like a peridot, which is green, and she's always like, oh, the
Peridot?
But then she's collected some and likes them.
And for someone who loves turquoise,
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So, I mean, the birthstones. So, October has a few. So, back to birthday twins. So, the first in our family, I think, was Nana and myself.
I think so.
And like
yeah.
I said, it didn't have overwhelming benefits.
yeah, but then Rosie, as the next person, immediately started this birthday cluster situation.
Right. But on the same day, the birthday twin leaned into it, I think would have been Luke and your son, Adam.
yeah, I think
Which
that's right.
is interesting because there are pictures of them having birthdays together, which are so cute when they were young.
I think this year around Adam's birthday, Rosemary sent me a picture of the two of them. And I think Luke was probably 2 and Adam was 4. And Adam was very small. I was just thinking about this the other day. He was just a tiny little guy for so many years. It was crazy that now he's like a big man size person. But Rosemary sent me this picture of the two of them. They had a joint birthday party at a park, and it was Elmo themed, and they both had like red Elmo t-shirts on, and they were so cute and just, oh my God, it was very, very sweet. The
and what's
two of them.
ironic is Rosie, who's always had issues with birthdays,
Uh-huh. Isn't it like her thing of like it always goes wrong, or it was never what she really wanted?
She is the movie Sweet 16 because I just think that summer birthdays are hard because kids are away. You could roll your eyes, John. Well, okay, what's your opinion?
I mean, this doesn't mean your point isn't correct
Right.
and isn't correct for Rosemary. But as a fellow summer birthday and as someone who, solidified the cluster as the in-between of the initial 3 and then 2, 4, who cares? It's your birthday, summer, not summer, joint, single birthday, whatever. It's still your birthday. Things happen. It's fine.
Oh, she did for sure. I mean, we were early FOMOers. I mean, even Rosie and I if I knew a friend was off doing something, and Rosie, if her friends were off doing camps or anything fun, yeah, we would just, it'd be in our corner just plotting and being so annoyed and FOMOing out. But we didn't know what FOMO was, fear of missing out at that point.
You're FOMOing at the mouth.
Yes.
Well, as number 8, even though I certainly also, want to do things that other people are doing, I certainly eventually learned that lesson of, no, it's not all about you. So whatever.
Well, yes, being one of 8, it's a hard lesson to learn. Rosemary,
you just illustrate how you didn't.
No,
Okay, sure.
I always knew I was part of a large family, and that was the gig. Rosemary, I'd have to tell her the last name was Killmond, not Rothschild, quite often. I mean, she just still thought she could change history as number 5. It was like, no. But so she would want kind of a big, fun birthday party in August.
And it really was, if you were in school, it was a lot easier to wrangle
cupcakes,
invitations, and like it feels like it was harder in summer
and for
to
all
even
the
get a hold of
craziness,
people.
yeah, and all the craziness, Mom would make the classic. And back then you had to make them. You couldn't buy them at the grocery store. Gosh, that sounds like I walked to school in the snow. But I mean, she would make the cupcakes, or what you wanted is the treat to bring on your birthday.
To school, sure.
Oh my gosh.
What? Oh God.
I will never forget. Mom would make these cupcakes that could she
Oh,
turned,
the butterfly cupcake. Is that what you're going to?
or it was a swan.
No, there was definitely a butterfly cupcake where you make the cupcake. Okay, so what Liz is talking about for sure.
None of this makes sense. Continue.
You're the worst. Be quiet. So you would take cupcakes to school for all of your classmates or whatever. And she would, I can't even believe she would do this.
So at least 40 cupcakes.
Yeah. She would like create, you guys are going to say, of course she would do this. She would make such a complicated project out of it. And this cupcake.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it was, I want to say like a vanilla cupcake or something, or lemon cupcake or something.
Lemon.
And you slice the top off. And then, you know how like a cupcake will rise the top, and you slice the top off, and then you cut that in half, and you frost the top of the cupcake without the top thing cut in half, and then you put it on like wings, and then you put like some other little decoration. You made like a butterfly cupcake.
So
those sound delicious.
It was so much work. I don't know what she was doing.
This is like Good Housekeeping 1970
Kind
June,
of, yeah.
Edition. This was the trend. You guys are ridiculous.
Well, back then, most things were made from scratch.
For sure.
We rarely, if ever, had anything other than a homemade birthday cake.
Oh, yeah.
And at the time, it was mortifying because, all these people that could afford luxury.
Like a Carvel cake.
A Carvel ice cream cake.
Forget
Oh,
about
my
it.
God. That was the jamola. I mean, someone could get that. But also bakery cakes. Like any type of bakery cake was like, are you rich? I mean, my God. I mean, you... But so we would...
sheet cake. Oh, my God. The luxury.
Oh, my God. Wait till the story. I just remember about the sheet cakes. So... I will never forget, Katherine, you were very motivated. So I remember you wanted to make that cupcake for your class. And Mom was like,
I did? Oh, that
yes.
seems impossible.
And
but
so
okay,
Mom
sure.
said, yes, if you'll help me. And it was like
Ugh.
such the assembly line of,
That
and I remember
was a dumb
as
idea.
kid thinking like, these are not going to be appreciated.
They also didn't travel well. Like, what were
These
we doing?
butterflies or whatever are not going to fly to school very well. They're not going to translate. And they're also like,
I
they're
don't
lemon.
think John and I got to experience all your exploits or failures as they were.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, continue, please.
And it
I'm
was
excited.
lemon. And you're also thinking kids lemon. I mean, this is
I don't
not
know.
the jam
Look,
choice. It's not most kids' jam. It's like chocolate
I
vanilla.
don't know why you're remembering that I was involved in this
Because I
decision.
just remember being like
feel
thinking in my head, because everything about birthdays, going back to Rosie, it was about how it affected you as a child and how you felt shafted that didn't happen for your birthday. So it's like, oh, Mom is willing to make these very curated, special cupcakes for Katherine. I didn't get that. Like, so it's just that as a kid. And Rosie would always remember what other people got. So it was like,
Well, and then Rosemary had her own weird sugar thing where she couldn't even
she
have
ruined
them
our
all.
whole household.
poor
Oh my
Rosemary.
God. That's why we had carob, which looks like chocolate and is not.
Yeah.
Ooh. But I remember she got some fabulous looking cake for her birthday one year because she was sugar sensitive at some point as a child. So Mom decided all of us were sugar sensitive.
Well,
which-
no,
which
that
you
was I
probably
was
were.
just talking to Rosemary about this recently, and the main thing that was wrong about how it was handled was, yes, Rosemary was more sensitive to sugar and she would like freak out and whatever, and Mom get super hyper, and Mom very clearly identified it and then told all of us like, well, Rosemary is not going to have sugar, so then you guys can't have sugar. So poor Rosemary was like, well, this is terrible. And now, like,
We're all glaring at her at the end of the table.
like, why did she tell us that it was Rosemary's fault? She should have just been like, kept that part of it quiet. I don't know. Yeah. So poor Rosie.
We're like, you're the reason we're having a carob cake.
That we only have, what were those tiger milk bars? Those protein bars? No, you
that
can't
would-
have a candy
Tiger milk
bar.
Those are
Awesome.
great. Yeah.
They are great, actually.
They are
but
great now, but
As a
it's
kid, it was
Everyone
like,
else can have a candy bar, but Rosemary's going to have a tiger
But
milk
we never
bar.
had. I don't ever remember having sugar cereal. I don't ever remember
We
having
didn't. Yeah.
loose, sugary snacks just around for
No.
the taking. I don't.
Not really. Mostly just if you wanted to add sugar, which I did.
You
to my
added
cereal.
sugar?
Oh,
What?
yeah.
From where? Where did you
Wherever you could find available
Catherine,
sugar
we
in the
had
house.
sugar for baking.
But I can't even.
and for coffee and stuff like that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, let me get just like 3 spoons of that in my
Oh my
cornflakes.
gosh! What?
I
oh
could ride my
I
bike
would
to
have
school.
never.
Up hills.
I can't even imagine that they would have let that fly.
Well,
Oh no, on
They
the
didn't
on the
notice.
DL.
They
On the
didn't
DL.
I'm like, they
notice.
didn't
Okay.
notice. But we would have sugar for baking things, right, John?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Yes, there was sugar in the house. I don't know why.
I know, but we
I
weren't
was a
allowed to
child.
like officially put
Get out of here
sugar
with your
on our
kicks and your
cereal.
touch of sugar.
Yeah, my point was just this goes for me to like overall family theories of like, and also personality styles. So Ed, as a later and middle child's like, yeah, I can get away with things and I want to do what I want to do. Katherine, as a slightly older, and her personality is like, what are the rules? Okay. So I did both versions of those, in different ways, but it's how you play the game.
Oh,
It
and
would-
I
yeah,
as a
I
middle
would-
child, constantly was breaking all the rules.
Yeah, up to no good.
I was like considered the only thief in the house. Remember,
Which
like,
is
if a
ridiculous.
pair
That's
of mom's nylons went
exactly what
missing.
John is saying is that while you were thieving, I was down there just dumping sugar
Yeah.
into my cereal bowl. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what she's doing. She's the worst. I'm going to I'll help you fight crimes. I'm powered by sugar.
Yeah, well, it's priorities. It's like, oh, well, Ed's priority is getting the sugar for his cereal.
Oh yeah, I mean,
It
like
would not have even occurred to me to try and scam sugar onto my cereal. I don't even.
Well, it didn't occur to me that I could have other candy than Tiger's Milk bars. It was like, no, that's it. That's what I can have.
Oh my gosh, I think my whole childhood was grifting. How can I get around these rules? Because I was the youngest of the top set, and so I had a little bit of the good life and knew how it could be. And then this more stricter, weird period came in, and I was like, "This is not going to work for me."
Then, like after you, it doubled in capacity for the family. So maybe there was
Yeah.
no access to sugary stuff.
Oh
That was
no,
a good
because
call.
I would take $5, and that'd be the king of Thrifty's ice cream. Treat everybody to a quarter scoop. But so I was just when you brought up sheet cakes for birthdays, there was a trend of Jell-O sheet cakes.
oh my God, the freezer box cake is what that's
Right.
called.
What? No, wait. Okay.
Isn't it?
These sound
Refrigerator
like
cake?
different things.
No.
I think it was refrigerator cake.
Okay, refrigerator cake.
So really what it goes back to is we no way got cakes bought from a store. Our mother would make them for various reasons. And she was awesome, whether she was making butterfly cupcakes. Because on your birthday, you basically got to decide what you wanted for
you got
breakfast.
to pick like the whole menu of the day.
Yeah.
I don't think that continued forever.
It was
Maybe.
like
You didn't have that?
I mean, Ed, I don't think so.
it often enough, but at a certain point that it was like you're not asking for the home cooked meal.
Well,
But for sure, not to go all the way back to cereal 2 minutes ago. But you got your birthday cereal. Like we talked about Team Flakes on another
I
podcast.
contest that.
okay, this is interesting.
And
I
Golden
think
Grams.
also working mom. Because we did not have, mom didn't work, a real, her teaching job, which was the entire day, really kicked in.
Oh yeah, after
Gosh.
like we were
John was born.
in high school. So
Yeah, so that's that's probably why it did have impact on you. So the older group, your birthday would be you basically got to dictate the menu of the day. So what?
Now we've avoided the subject
of what?
whatever. It's so. I think this is why the birthday rule got enacted because you guys had all these things that you were going to get for your birthday.
Planning, conniving.
So you are not allowed to talk about all the 19 things that you're allowed to get until 1 month before.
Well, it goes back to Liz talking about FOMO. Like we definitely were like, we would see other kids' parties or even, our own party. And I feel like it was me, but it could have been somebody else. Immediately after their birthday party, started talking about the next year's birthday party.
now as an adult, wouldn't that drive you insane?
I would be like ready to strangle that child. So for sure, it was something like, had just thrown a big party with kids and whatever the cake was and whatever. And talking about like, well, next year I want this, that, and the other thing, and then mom and go ahead.
I'm just saying, so you got the party. Let's not forget your special breakfast and whatever special meal you got and
For sure.
whatever
Well,
special
that's what I was saying.
for your
We-
school snacks. So you got a lot of things. And then, yes, to then immediately be talking about next year.
Immediately.
Because you could really, like I said, you'd pick out your breakfast, not so much everybody else's.
Yeah, you could-
Your lunch could
yeah.
be special, like, special treats in there. And then dinner, based on what mom would normally make, It wasn't, you weren't asking for beef bourguignon. I mean, it was like spaghetti.
No, it was
or
you
one
get
of
to
the
pick
casseroles
from
or
the
something.
regular repertoire.
Yeah.
But it was your choice.
Yes. And, the bummer was, as like I said, kind of conniving and grifting in my younger years, when one of the younger siblings would be like, I want chicken divan. I'm like, no, you don't.
Chicken divan.
Let's talk this through. What do you really want?
Chicken divan just makes
Do you
me think
remember
of
when
the
you had this,
1960s.
Well, chicken divan is basically a casserole and cream sauce. And it now as an
Which is
adult.
perfect.
Yeah, which now as an adult, I'm like, sounds damn good. But as a kid, you're like, no, you don't want that.
I don't know.
Let's
I
talk
can't
this
eat
through.
like, a whole dinner
Extra
of
mayonnaise?
the same
Yeah.
thing. Oh, well, first of all, it's also like cooked mayonnaise goop sauce.
Not your
so
jam.
no, yuck. But just like bite after bite of like the same gloppy. I don't know.
That's why I would thank me then. I think a couple kids got talked out of that birthday meal because of me.
No, that was a bad choice.
James is still a huge fan of chicken
yeah.
divan.
Well, speaking
And
of
it's turkey divan because really now it's leftovers.
Oh,
no, turkey, no. But I think James, what he has continued, which I didn't realize, I thought it was he started himself with his family, is they do that to a degree with their kids.
The pick the meal?
Is pick the meal and
For dinner,
I don't know,
yeah.
something else.
Oh, yeah, because when they lived here, damn, our social calendars were packed because there's 5 kids in his family, our older brother James. So it felt like, if not once a week, every other week, we were going to somebody's house for somebody's birthday dinner, doing something for. It was a lot.
yeah. Birthdays felt like almost constant.
Well, and all that was also we're entering a new phase where there's very little actual young kids. So
Yeah.
you realize how many events are packed in those younger years, and then it's kind of spreads out after a certain point.
Well, yeah, because our teenage nieces and nephews don't really want us older aunts and uncles there. Like they'll have a birthday celebration that we're not part of anymore.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then the younger ones are like, no, we want the aunt and uncle there for the gifts. But going back, so I was saying birthday cakes. What was the birthday cake you always?
Wait. We got to finish talking about the icebox cake.
That's where I'm getting
okay,
with
sorry,
this.
Sorry.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Which, just as a note, so do we think it was like off a Jello box? Because why is Jello
yes,
even?
this, I'll explain what it was, but
Lots of
just
recipes
saying
on those
because our
Jello
mother
boxes.
would basically make you your favorite birthday cake.
Right. You could request.
So it really did vary what you wanted. I mean, I was, for some bizarre reason, there was a stretch there because I was October. It was pumpkin pie.
What?
I know. You actually, as a birthday gift, went across the street with that crazy neighbor, Bert,
Oh, Bert.
and made me homemade pumpkin pies. Which I
I
was like,
did?
Yes.
God, my memory is
And
terrible.
I was like, I don't know, Miss Smith might be better. Like you're like, shut up, I'm gonna kill you. So I mean, for sure.
You said pies.
Yeah, well, she had to make 2 at least because we're such a big family.
Oh my God.
So I think there was 2 pumpkin pies she came back with. And you were so proud of them. And you were so impressed. And I literally think I was like critiquing the custard, and you almost
How
jumped me.
rude of you.
Can I just say
Throttled
that
me.
the 70s were the freaking Wild West?
These were in the 70s. How old do you think we are? So, okay, wait. All right. So what was your favorite birthday cake?
Now, going back. So wait. So she's giving you this gift
Yes.
of pumpkin pies.
Yes.
But what is the cake for the party?
I might not have had a party that year. Not every year did I have a party. I don't remember that year.
Okay,
that was what I remember that year, okay?
Okay, so now wait, are you introducing a new thing that if there was or when the party wasn't on your birthday, did you not
yeah. Okay, then yes.
on your birthday, you got the
My
whatever
favorite
separate
was,
from the party. Yeah.
Just out of a box, the yellow cake. But then Mom's, it's not the chocolate fudge frosting. It's that whipped cream frosting.
Yeah.
And it's 4-layer cake. So we call it the 4-layer cake. That is still one of my favorite cakes. Dee Dee, my sister-in-law, loves it still to this day. I
Yeah,
think I
so
made it for her a
it's-
few years ago.
Okay,
It's
so
a yellow cake.
Go
Sorry,
ahead, Katherine.
yellow cake, and you make 2 rounds, and then you split the rounds in half. And then you frost it, not the sides, just on top
Yeah,
of
but they
each
kinda
layer.
gloop
They
over.
kind of gloop over, and it's a whipped cream and Hershey syrup whipped together.
Kind of makes a mocha.
Yeah, and then she put almond
Flavor.
slivers on the top, right?
Yes. so
That
delicious.
was the 4-layer cake.
We've now discovered the secret underground resistance to the what we thought was the family favorite cake of 2-layer chocolate sour cream frosting. This is why there's a debate sometimes. I thought there was one cake. Now there's another.
That is I think that's the go-to classic. But I'm just saying, if I really had my druthers, that was the cake. But that
Ginny
took more.
still makes that cake. Ginny
Yeah.
will
I
make
still
that
love
cake.
it.
She's still talking, and I'm always like, why are you even talking about this cake. Who cares?
There are two different factions.
Okay, wait a minute. All right, so what was your
The
birthday?
sour cream frosting. I never had that cake on my birthday. But who would remember my birthday?
So wait, January. Yes.
My birthday cake is a giant-sized tasty cake.
No.
And it's
What?
my birthday's 2 days after Dad's. Of course, that's Dad's exact same favorite cake. It's yellow cake with the sour cream frosting. Imagine that shrunk down to the size of a tasty cake. Same flavor.
Now, so do
Tasty
but
cakes, aren't tasty cakes chocolate? Like chocolate cake and chocolate waxy frosting?
What? How? We're talking about chocolate frosting.
It's the chocolate frosting flavor. But here's the question: if today Mom were to ask you, "What cake do you want me to make you for your birthday?" What would it be?
I'd probably go chocolate, like devil's food cake with the sour cream chocolate frosting, just because, overdose now. Why not? It's too late at this point.
It's so bizarre. That recipe has been in our family. This chocolate, sour cream, butter, powdered sugar recipe. It's like a fudge frosting.
Yeah.
And yet Rosie just made it for Luke's and so effed up the recipe somehow. Like the whole cake had to be thrown away. So
Thrown away?
It's not a foolproof recipe.
Right.
It is still complicated.
Well, not to I don't know that we need to spend a lot of time on Rosie's recent failures, but
Just in the kitchen, people.
whoa, there are no failures. She's perfect.
Thank you, yes.
I think it's shockingly, having been, of course, tangential to this story. Was it two different times? Was the frosting one time
Shakespearean
and
on
the
us.
cake another time, or was it both for that one?
I think
time?
there has been
Of times that she messed up?
She only messed up once because also she's perfect. But this recent time is all I'm thinking.
I actually think there's been. I think I have had trouble with that frosting. I think Virginia has. I think it is just temperamental because you are actually tempering the the unsweetened chocolate, which every child had to get indoctrinated in our family taking a bite of unsweetened
Hence,
chocolate.
that's why it's my favorite, because if you don't know, then you're going to get indoctrinated, and then you'll love that.
No, it's the best bite of chocolate you're ever going to have in your life. No, just take a bite of it. You're going to love it. No, I mean, I would never lie to you. It's the best chocolate ever. And the little brother or sister, this is the worst. So it's
Yeah,
complicated.
thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Yep. But Mom, that is one of her go-to cakes. It's
which
delicious.
she can apparently knock out easily.
Yep,
But yeah,
she can still nail it. All right, so what is your mom cake?
the only good cake. Just
What?
kidding. No, I thought the family favorite cake. I forgot.
Wait
this.
a minute.
Yeah, no, look, 2-layer yellow cake with sour cream chocolate frosting.
I thought your jam was the old-fashioned what they're called the old-fashioned little chocolate wafer cookies with whipped cream.
That cake.
The
That's a
refrigerator cake that you're talking about. I like that. I don't. Maybe someone talked me into it once or twice.
I've made it for you twice. I'll stop. I thought you loved it.
No, okay, yes. Now, all right, if we're talking about strictly recent history, where, now we are hand in glove of each other's lives, apparently.
Yes.
Look, I love that cake. It's great. But part of the thing is we never get it. And you can't get it anywhere else. Whereas,
No, you have to make it.
Whereas, yes, sour cream frosting is like, if you're actually paying attention, you're like, wait, what's sour cream frosting? Yeah, because I think not a lot of people know about it and you don't get it. But is it that dissimilar to normal chocolate cake? No. Whereas this fridge box cake is like, you're not getting it anywhere else. So I really enjoy it. So it's fun that we have had it, a couple times in the last couple of years, because you're not getting it anywhere else.
I've made it for myself when I was in college.
It's so good.
I've made a couple cakes for myself because there wasn't anybody out there making cakes.
January, you're by yourself. You're
Yep.
back at school.
Aww.
Oh, my God.
Whatever. I never bought flour. I crusted the edge of all the cakes with sugar. They're awesome.
I think I taught you that trick, actually.
That
Probably.
works?
Yeah.
It'll come out of the pan?
Yes.
Caramelizes.
Yeah, it caramelizes a little
Holy
bit. It's better.
shit.
And the sour cream, by the way,
Gives
for
you
all
about
of you
an extra
listening
20
going,
pounds in college. It's awesome.
what are you all talking about? It's just a buttercream frosting, but you add sour cream because that adds a bit of tang.
Which I don't
then
like.
I think
but
is
I think I'm
Catherine,
the
you
only
do
one.
like.
I don't like it.
And tang it's not even.
No.
It's
It's
not
very
even-
subtle.
Yeah,
Very,
I
very,
mean,
very
it's
subtle.
less than if you're talking about milk to dark chocolate.
Yeah, for
it's just a slightly a deeper flavor of the buttercream.
Right.
It's very similar.
All right, so Katherine, then what would be the cake you would want Mom to make?
You know what? I don't know if I have a favorite cake. I do like a denser cake. My daughter is the baker at the house, which is a very cute evolution. Eric really likes a very light
airy.
Yeah, like a light, airy.
Like a genoa.
Eric likes
it
a
just-
box of donuts.
Oh, Eric's hysterical. So he likes a boxed yellow cake, but like that really light consistency.
Well, which his grandmother
Yeah,
was
so-
infamously made perfectly all the time and when he would get down there.
Yeah, so he would go and visit his grandmother in San Diego and come back with a sheet cake, just the like rectangle pan of yellow cake with chocolate frosting. And he likes a really light
So it's a
cake
sponge
and
cake, and in the world of the
Whoa,
British Bake
no,
Off,
not
that's
sponge.
a genoa.
No, not sponge. It's just a fluffy
Well,
cake.
like an airy genoa, and that's considered a.
Stop
I
saying
like this
genoa.
genoa.
No one knows.
Like,
what
I'm
that
telling
is.
you what genoa is.
Well, if you're relating
It's
it,
light. It's not dense.
sponge. It's not
Right.
sponge.
Okay, so anyway, that's what he likes, and it's not a cream cheese or sour cream frosting, whatever frosting. It's just a very, very whipped chocolate frosting. His favorite cake. I do not like it. I like it's too,
I don't know. Do you ever? I don't think you usually say that when it's.
and it's hilarious because he's always like, "What do you mean it's the best?" And I'm like, "No, I don't like it. It's too. I like something more dense. Like I would prefer a brownie
he
over
wants-
cake
maybe
any day."
It might not be a genoa. It might be a chiffon cake.
Oh, good Lord. So anyway, Sarah has taken on.
Do you like a flourless chocolate cake then?
Sure, that's just like a big piece of candy.
Yeah.
So great. Love
Okay.
it. No, I do like something heavier and denser, like a brownie or something more,
So I'm going to bring it all back around. So the infamous Jell-O sheet refrigerator cake. So Rosemary, no, it might not have been Rosemary, but Rosemary was part of making it and why it's an infamous story. So sometime in the 80s, and probably, Jell-O was a big deal. Whether we're eating Jell-O mold,
just look. It's very. You're sending us down the wrong path by talking about Jell-O because there's no Jell-O in this cake.
you're
But-
wrong. Because when I explain,
what cake are you thinking of? There is
You're-
absolute Jell-O in this cake.
Okay,
I can't wait to describe this cake
Yes.
then.
I'm thinking of the cake that's basically the whipped cream and the wafers.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Then I don't care about this cake.
Okay, well,
okay,
first
but
of
you'll
all,
care about the story.
Hold on.
Jeez.
Let's just make sure that people understand. The cake that John is talking about, you take these, they're called famous wafer cookies.
Yep.
They're dark chocolate cookies, and you line them up.
You would never want to eat them straight out of the box.
I have eaten them out of the box.
Oh, God.
She loves wafers, which
They're the-
is okay until you get to lemon and whatever useless other
Ginger,
things.
lemon and ginger. They have them at Trader
So
Joe's.
there's a
They're
very
great.
thin.
They're like
very
the opposite
thin.
of a saltine. The 180-degree opposite of a saltine.
God.
Basically, this chocolate wafer cookie is like the top of an Oreo without the goo in between.
That's a good
right. Without
And-
the
explanation.
Okay,
yeah.
so then to that cake, it's whatever, like whipped cream or something,
yeah.
right?
So then I think we used to do it with Cool Whip. Wasn't it a Cool Whip thing?
Yep.
So it was. You just take each little cookie and put a little bit of Cool Whip, and then you in between each one you lay them side by side.
Like two logs.
Kind of ends up looking a little bit like a Yule log, and then you cover the
I love
whole
a
thing
Yule
with whipped
log.
cream or Cool Whip or whatever. That's what John is talking about. We are talking about a Jell-O cake,
Which
so
I
get
did
ready.
elevate your cake. The last time I made that cake for you, which I thought was your favorite, I did it more in like a dome because then you could like
dome?
scoop in and get like a delicious. I did real whipped cream with chocolate shavings.
Oh shit!
Well, look, fantastic. On a separate note, look, you know me. Do I ever need innovation?
No.
I can't do Cool Whip. I mean, sorry, Cool Whip, but
Cool Whip.
Does Cool Whip still exist?
yes,
Yes.
Virginia.
Oh, okay.
And I will say, Virginia brought it
Cool Whip.
because for
Oh yeah, that is.
Oh, is that
I
the friggin-
forgot. Yeah, that is.
that's the song.
From the 80s when we're talking about, right?
Oh, I do not remember the theme song.
Oh my
Okay.
God, it reminds me of the commercial
But
game.
Virginia's
Anyway.
husband, for
Oh,
his
yeah.
birthday, which is such a sacrilege, wants like cherry pie. Like what? He doesn't even want a cake. And so at every Thanksgiving, or Christmas, she'll bring pies. That's what it is. She'll bring pies at Christmas because that's Brian's favorite. And she will bring Cool Whip. And so it was the last, I think, holiday we're all together. I was like, I got to try this Cool Whip. And I was like, this is like the densest.
It is good. I
It
don't know
was
what's
good.
wrong.
I just,
Okay.
you know what probably would be really good on is hot chocolate because I think it would just hold its form. Unlike real whipped cream that's into like, I give up. It melts into your hot
Yeah,
chocolate.
instantly.
I think
it's a
Cool
bit of a
evaporates.
meringue.
I think you're right.
Don't say meringue. Meringue is bad.
I love meringue.
So just to come back. So yes, unfortunately, Liz, it isn't my favorite. I'm sorry to
Wow.
but I do like it, and I really did
Forget
appreciate
this,
it.
August.
No, you don't have to, certainly. And also, don't need innovation or anything special. Totally fine.
And also, Also, you know exactly what his favorite cake is now. He said it on this podcast.
I already forgot it.
Yeah,
I already blocked it out. I already blocked it. I'm so
See,
irritated.
You and the other faction are so,
I'm so irritated. All right. So
wait, I need to clarify something. I think part of the confusion is, to me, that is the fridge box cake.
Right. Okay.
So you can't use that name for this Jello cake because that is not.
All right. So we'll just call it the Jello cake.
Yeah, just
because
the Jello cake.
This is
And
the
I don't know
confusion.
what this is, so go for it.
Yeah, they both do go in the refrigerator. So Jello in the 80s was a big deal. We were allowed to make Jello blocks.
Oh, Jello blocks.
There
for
were a
sure.
lot of things that, mom would just go, all right, fine, go entertain yourselves,
Jello blocks, if you don't know what those are, it's a regular sheet of Jello that you cut into squares.
Well, I think
Does not have alcohol in it like a Jello shot.
I feel like there was one
Slightly
more
different.
step, but no. I mean, there would be very, there's a lot of
I
gelatin
think you
in
had,
them.
yeah, you had to add Knox to like.
Yes.
So it was
Which was
regular
gelatin.
Jello and then extra gelatin to just give them that springy.
Is that why we call them Knox blocks? I thought.
Knox blocks?
Yes. Okay. So we would make various things with Jello. So we always had a couple boxes in the pantry. So I swear it was a Rosemary's Birthday, but there was a ad that came out, and it might have been also one of the magazines. What else do we have to do but look through magazines? So you would make a vanilla sheet cake, then take a wooden spoon and
I thought it was a straw.
No, you need a little bigger holes. Mm-hmm. And so once you'd bake the cake, you'd bake a vanilla sheet cake.
Let it cool.
Let it completely cool.
Everybody writing this down? Okay, keep
Then
going.
it would come out and you would make holes in it. Could have been a straw. You would have to make punch holes in it. Then you would have made Jello, just a classic Jello recipe. Now, this is where we got tricky because you can make a rainbow Jello cake.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
Which then would be up to like 2 to 4 colors. And you would pour the Jello
Over the cake.
Over the cake. And then put it in the refrigerator. And the Jello would, in essence, overnight become like sort of gel within the cake. Mm-hmm. And you'd cut into it, and there'd be like, I mean, now I look back and I'm like, gross, but I don't remember being gross. I remember being kind of good.
It was actually very good.
Yeah. Then you would top it with whipped cream.
Was it whipped cream or I feel like it was like pudding or something?
Oh God,
Oh,
that's
God.
gross.
Okay, all right.
I
Sorry.
think it was whipped cream.
Pudding by Jello.
Yeah. No, it was definitely not pudding. It was
So basically, when you would slice into it, it would have like stripes almost, like vertical
Yes.
stripes of whatever the Jello, where it had dripped down into the cake and then
was
turned into its
encapsulated inside
Jello
the cake.
self.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
So yeah, this in some look, I can visualize this, but I don't think I remember it. But this sounds sort of, this is the version of like a funfetti or a confetti cake in some way.
Yeah, kind of.
That might be.
You know
the-
what? Yeah.
that might be the evolution of it. So there was something going on where mom very much decided, okay, yeah, go ahead. You guys make the cake. I'm looking up. If you look up Jello cake, there are images of it.
Oh,
And there's a
love it.
strawberry one. And look at that rainbow one. You
mean,
guys,
I
I am encouraging the world to get back to the Jello cake. I'm going to make this
I
a
remember
waste of
just
time.
the lime one.
rainbow Jello poke cake.
Poke cake. What are they poking with? Are they poking with like
know.
toothpicks? I feel like a wooden
No,
spoon.
no,
is-
No,
'cause
it's
it-
raw tuna. Poke.
Oh,
No, look, this is now. Look, you've entered into the modern world, which yes, with everybody's different. Like, well, I'm gonna do my own bakery, blog, Instagram, whatever.
Yeah.
So now I have to make new things all the time. No, nope. Too much stuff is happening. We don't need any of these things.
Oh my
we
God,
have,
John, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, we have our own young modern baker trying to make a million recipes. It's too many.
I'm getting
recipes.
Morgan over, and we're going to make this
No,
disaster.
Morgan needs to focus on baking basics, I think. But wait, I also, to distract us, I will call out, having mentioned funfetti and confetti, that's Mark's favorite, which is a mistake.
Is a huge mistake. Okay, but all right, let's
It
focus
is a
for one thing.
mistake.
So look, allow the cake to cool and then use the handle of a wooden spoon
Oh my
to
God,
poke
Liz.
holes. My memory, you
Wow.
can't F with it.
No, that's
Okay.
impressive.
And I got to say, I do want this cake now. I might have to make this for the August birthdays, John. Okay, so
Wait, what flavor would you do?
this rainbow looks like I'm salivating. My flavor glands are kicking off.
Yuck.
Okay, so there's a strawberry one. Maybe we can do strawberry one.
That is an incredible amount of effort. No.
Hello,
do,
I made.
do the yellow cake
Okay,
with
wait, but
lime.
let me finish. Let me stay on the track with
Yeah,
this, 'cause
wait.
then I can get into.
Wait, are you going to talk about your
Flag cake?
No, I was going to say your cooking shortcuts. How are
dare
you going to
you.
do the shortcuts with this rainbow
Oh,
cake?
I can already see a few, and it is whipped cream frosting. Okay, so We decide to make it, and we're making like multiple bowls of hot lava fucking Jello on the counter. Like it's just such a disaster. Mom, who knows where Mom is? So we made the cake,
Taking a nap in her prayer corner, just journaling something.
ignoring it.
Please, God, please let the Jello work. Please keep these kids silent.
Oh, she was not
I'm gonna stay up here
thinking-
for
she was-
4 hours
yeah.
trying.
Yeah, well, pretty much because this cake, you got to bake the cake, let it cool, then make your Jello. I mean, it is
There's
involved.
multiple steps.
I mean, if you're a mom, you're like, which was arduous cake I get my kids to make? That's it. Go make the Jello cake.
See you in 4 hours.
So we make it, and the thing is, we had 2 refrigerators growing up, very, very well off. Just joking. We had to just for spillover of milk. Like we need the extra space. So of course, in the main refrigerator, there was no room for a sheet cake to cool. It had to be put in the refrigerator. So now you're gonna have to walk from the kitchen.
Oh, no.
Down to the downstairs den, which has a couple stairs. That room is a carpeted floor. You've gone over linoleum and wood, and now you're going down wood. Going down a few steps from the wood entry down onto carpet.
And none of you are old enough to have like graduated 8th grade and at least practice balancing with the hat.
None of us were ballerinas.
No,
okay,
exactly. So yeah, this is going to be a challenge.
None of us went to etiquette school balancing a book on our head. So. I think I know Rosie got put in charge of taking the cake down there. And I think maybe I was there holding the door open. I mean, like, I remember seeing it.
Supervise.
And it's one of those things like, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden it was like, wobble, wobble. And like the whole thing, like, now she'll say, now that I'm thinking about it, you guys, I think it was just Knox Jellos. No, I'm just saying. When I think about what a disaster it was, the memory's coming back clearer to me now.
It wasn't the cake. It was just
I
Jello
actually
sheet.
don't think it was the Jello cake. I think it was just Knox Jellos because that was the biggest.
So it was just a sheet of Jello,
right? Because if
liquid
it had
Jello.
been the cake, it wouldn't have been the disaster that carpet still smells of Jello 25 years later. So I think it was a full tray
of hot caramelized gelatin
Jello that had not
mix.
set. Sorry, everybody. I will say the Jello cake is delicious, but that's not what Rosemary spilled. Now that the memories come back to me. But yes, that was another. So
They could have been for a birthday, though.
It all ties up to Jello, but yes, I was incorrect. It was just a sheet of Jello that got spilled. But we're probably making it for Rosie's birthday, and that's why I thought of it and tied it all together.
So that didn't go well.
No.
Right. And up till this point in the episode, we have been talking about like enjoyable parts of your birthdays and things like that. I have a question because I wasn't really old enough. I have like barely a memory of it, and mostly because there's a picture. And this is before John, I think, has anything. But you two would be old enough to have, I don't know, a sense of the story behind the Santa Claus piñata that
Santa Claus
I got
piñata?
for my birthday.
What?
Oh, yeah, I know.
That traumatized me because the goal of that was to beat the candy out of Santa Claus. That's not my vibe. So I am like, no, crying, and I'm not doing it. So like, you're older than me enough that you might have a little bit more story on that than I do.
Yes.
Okay.
So we didn't do piñatas typically.
No, that was
It
not.
was very rare.
Seems like a super awesome gift.
And for some reason, they became a little popular with maybe you and John. Like, it was like, oh, we can stuff it with great candy.
Well, and it's a good activity as part of a party.
Right.
I mean,
It was kind of funny.
Which is hilarious because, like, get a stick and, whap something. I mean, I don't know.
And way back in the day, that poor tree, the most beautiful tree in the backyard.
Yeah.
And then that's a whole nother story of why that basically got demolished. But you could hang a piñata off of it and up and down. It was fun activity, right? Now, even though we're in Los Angeles, the piñata, they're not available everywhere. Like, it was a Spanish community. Like, that's kind of where you would find them. Party stores eventually started to have them. Now you can get them kind of everywhere. But it was a little more going back then. It was a little like, oh, a piñata. Where are we going to get a piñata? We rode our bikes everywhere. We're going to go ride our bikes, get Eddie a piñata at the local CVS. Like, it wasn't going to happen. So Mom's friend brought the piñata, and also they can come pre-stuffed with like crappy candy in there, but so she brought it.
Whether or not it was pre-stuffed with Christmas stuff from 3 weeks earlier, because that's around how far away my birthday was, that would make sense. Oh yeah, this is on discount. Get that thing to kid's birthday right
you
now.
pretty much nailed it. So you walk into some place and like, oh, there is a Santa Claus piñata, 90% off because it's January. And why not? That will be fun. So mom's friend brought it, and very sweet gesture. But yes, it was like Santa Claus in January, and us older kids thought it would be funny. And you were not having it. You were like, I'm not beating up Santa Claus. And then as older kids, we loved that more. And it was like, come on, beat up Santa Claus. So it did not work. It was not, because also as a kid, you're not far enough away from just having had Christmas. It's like, Santa's going to remember I beat him up. I'm going to be on the naughty list next year. And we're like, no, do it. The candy's there, and your friend.
I'm still very heightened about the Santa right now. This is
Exactly.
still the season. According to Mom, got another 3 weeks.
The tree is still up.
Are you bringing up
No, I'm kidding.
the Epiphany? Oh my God. Our mother lives with the Christmas tree for so long, still to this day, because in the Catholic faith, until the three kings visited, which
He had to be born. And then they're like, oh, wait, now we can start traveling.
The 12 days of Christmas are after Christmas.
which means you have kindling in your house forever because you have a Christmas tree that's so dry.
The house it's made of wood anyway. The whole thing is kindling.
That's
Get
true.
out of here.
All right. Well, yeah. So probably your birthday, there was a very good chance Christmas decorations are still up. I mean, Mom will leave with those Christmas cards from people forever.
Now she just leaves them up year round. I don't even think she takes them down. Does she? She doesn't take them down. They're like on the back of the front door, I think.
Usually, but that's also primed for not doing what she means to do. So, like, what if I leave this set up for 2 years and then not put up the next two sets? Okay, sure.
I know. I'll look at my child on that and I'm like, wow, he is now taller than me. So that picture's a little outdated. But okay, we're going to roll with it.
All right, anyway, so wherever we are.
Well,
on
that
the
was his
piñata.
birthday, the Santa Claus pinata. So a mom's friend brought it. We forced you to do it. Obviously, it still traumatized you to this day.
And it was enjoyed by many.
I'm
Just not me.
sorry. Well, because then you younger kids, us older kids would kind of get involved with your birthdays and help in different ways.
for sure.
Versus, you know, pretty much us older ones, Mom, it was all on her to put those together. I will say, I had a birthday party. I was October, so I was in school. Sorry, Rosemary, I got prime calendar space. And it was early enough that I had a very interesting group of friends, but Mom said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to go horseback riding.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
So Mom goes, okay, well, you can take 6 girlfriends plus you and me. That's a group of 8. Like, that's what we can do. So everybody's all primed to go horseback riding. And it rained the night before, which then canceled the horseback riding because of the mud. Oh my God, what's going on? My birthday's ruined. And Mom's like ready to kill me. So now Mom is trying to figure out what to do with these kids. Because back then, it's like parents were like, oh no, you're still taking my kid. It doesn't matter that the horseback ride is canceled. I'm still dropping the
You have
child
to
off.
find a new activity.
Right. And, then it was like, oh, are we going to go to the movies? We couldn't figure anything out. She goes, well, you know what we should do? This is pre-internet. So how she figured this out, I don't actually know. She said, if we ride our bikes into the Getty Center, which is a museum on Pacific Coast Highway, you don't even have to pay for admissions or have a reservation, but you have to ride your bikes in. Oh, okay. Now, our household usually had about 20 bikes in various ways
States
of
of
repairs.
disrepair, yeah.
I mean, they probably could pedal. And we had a big van. So I still to this day, when you think about she put, and then somehow 2 other siblings now, because they were going to come with. So it was like 12 people went in this van with bikes.
That's insane.
And we rode our bikes across Pacific Coast Highway, which is a huge highway. It's just that my mother is the only chaperone. And went into a museum. And then we're talking, the Getty houses amazing art collection. And back then it wasn't divided between the 2 museums. There's another more modern, I think, museum now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, all across the gamut of type of art and sculptures and everything. So as a kid, you're like, this is crazy. But there's also no food there. So at a certain point, get back in the van with all these bikes. And we had to go to a barbecue place. I mean, this birthday was like a 10-hour birthday. It was so long. But even when my girlfriends brought it up the other day, like, when your mom put us all on bikes and we rode along Pacific Coast Highway, I thought I was going to die. No helmets. No helmets existed. No seatbelts. We got in that van. There was not probably enough seats for all the kids and bikes. So
no.
And we're going over a canyon. I mean, you look back on it and you're like, that is such craziness. But our mom, God bless her, was down.
Listen, I know that this isn't the actual case, but in my mind, I just married all of that together and was like, well, yeah. Obviously, we're still going to the Getty Museum. That was the plan the entire time. Horseback ride to the Getty Museum. They let you in for free. Oh, no. That's the Gene Autry Museum that lets you in with the horses for free. Right. Okay.
Oh, they probably do have horse parking at the Gene Autry. Yeah, you're probably right.
Horse parking.
Horse parking. So, yeah. I mean,
Equine parking to the left.
Equine. My Lord. So, yeah, I think we've got a little reprieve until the big summer, August birthdays, which may be back on because the big gathering that happens every year, which is always just, it's a roller coaster of emotions, because we have little Teresa who one year was so beside herself because I had it at my house and there was swimming and, barbecuing and the whole day. It was so long. And she was one of those kids that, she puts herself to bed at 8 or 8:30, and she maybe was only like 8 years old. She was like bleary-eyed delusional by the time we did the cake. She was like a mess. So I don't know. But yeah, maybe this year we'll be able to all get together again and do the big August shebang with everybody.
That would be awesome.
But then Rosemary still wants her own shebang. I mean, Rosie does not.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes and no. I think you, on, special ones, she wants an actual party. Other times, like, well, we're going to go out to dinner for my birthday. And
yeah.
So it's not. And I'm sure, who knows, there might be some ladies groups that she gets together with or whatever. But it doesn't really impact the family only in special circumstances.
That's true. But yeah, and I end up usually hosting it because it's her birthday. So she's not going to be one of the hosts. And because it's August in the San Fernando Valley, California, it's hot as...
I don't know about usual. I think we've done beach more than anything else.
Oh, the beach one, everybody revolted. Everyone said, well... I can't say everybody.
Would you leading these secret charges? I do not appreciate it.
Well, no, I think actually it wasn't me. It was Rosemary going, I don't want to do the birthday at the beach anymore. And I backed her up.
I don't know if there wasn't any more.
Listen, don't tell us these lies. You wanted to ride horses for your birthday. You are the naysayer.
Still do.
The naysayer.
Well, but
wow.
I did just do a birthday for my son, a few years ago. And it was full circle. It was horseback riding.
Oh, wow.
I thought of that recently because...
you come?
I did.
There was like 4 chaperones for 8 children. Thinking back, Mom was just by herself with 12 kids on bikes.
Yeah, but it was also, he wasn't, a 2-foot, person. He was a slightly bigger person.
Maybe he's 8 or 9 years old.
Right,
yeah.
so more than 2 feet tall was my point, but still very small on a horse. I just recently, Ginny was talking about a Girl Scout group or something, and I was like, man, yeah, those small kids on horses, it's a little bit of a trip.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a time for another story. We'll have to do summer camps coming up on summer because Rosie and I had quite experiences in summer camp with horses. All right. Well, so we have birthdays coming up in August. It may be at the beach, John. We'll go back to the OG plan or...
Yeah, you're prepping the martyr right now, so no thank you.
Sorry. But yes, that's the big birthday coming up. I mean, there's a couple in between, of course, but because there's so many of us, But I am going to make this Jell-O poke cake. Even though I think I was completely wrong about my own story. I now have rediscovered
the cake. Well, we definitely had it for some birthdays, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a good summer cake because it's also, you serve it cold, straight out of the fridge.
I know. I'm very intrigued
It's good.
by it.
It's a good cake.
I got to go back and make it. And this new version looks exciting.
So it's a revenge cake?
Oh,
best served cold.
Wow, Ed. Yep. Okay.
Hey, you handed that to me on a silver platter.
Oh, God.
Sure. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us for this episode of Family Dynamics. And if your birthday's coming up, happy birthday to you. And if you sing happy birthday, I guess it's originally owned by 2 ladies, 2 sisters.
Has it gone into public domain yet, or is it still they can charge you? I know on TV it's a real problem.
No, I think it finally, within the last 10 years, I think it transitioned.
Yeah, it used to be like
2030. It's owned by the Hill sisters.
I don't know. I think
so. We'll just do the
Some believe-
restaurant style. If you have a birthday coming up this month Happy birthday to you.
Yes, happy birthday to you. All right, so make sure you subscribe, like, follow us at Family DynamiKs with a K, please. We also have Patreon. Where, gosh, you know what? From this episode, I'm sure there are some stories we could go in on that really embarrass family members. So there you go.
That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah, there's probably some ones involving cousins because God bless.
I want to talk about like our worst birthday party.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we will do our worst birthdays on Patreon. So please subscribe to our Patreon. And once again, thank you for listening to Family DynamiKs.